Every military base on Earth exists because a government said yes. Except one. A US aircraft carrier has 4.5 acres of sovereign territory that can appear anywhere on the planet without asking a single country for permission. No basing rights. No overflight agreements. No diplomatic cables. It just shows up. The United States operates 11 of these. The rest of the world, combined, operates 0 nuclear supercarriers of comparable size. And right now, 2 of them are conducting live combat operations against Iran in Operation Epic Fury. So why does the US spend more on these ships than most countries spend on their entire military? Because a carrier doesn't just bring planes. It brings an entire self-contained military ecosystem, and that ecosystem is what makes it irreplaceable. A Nimitz-class carrier displaces over 100,000 tons of water, the equivalent of its weight. It is 1,092 feet long. The flight deck carries 4 catapults, 4 arresting wires, and the ability to launch a fully loaded strike fighter every 20 seconds. Below deck, 2 nuclear reactors produce 260,000 horsepower. They run for over 20 years before refueling. The ship's range is, in practical terms, unlimited. It generates enough electricity to power a city of 100,000 people. $6.5 million a day. That's not a ship. That's a small country with a flight deck and an anger management problem. But here's what most people get wrong. A carrier never fights alone. What you're really paying for is the carrier strike group: carrier, air wing, destroyers, cruiser, submarine, supply ships. Roughly 7,500 personnel. And when you add up the hardware, you are looking at somewhere between $25 and $35 billion sailing in one formation. Let's break down what's actually out there. The backbone of the escort force is the Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. A strike group typically sails with 2 to 3 of them. They displace about 9,700 tons and carry the Aegis combat system, one of the most advanced integrated air and missile defense networks ever built. Each Burke carries up to 96 vertical launch cells. That's standard missiles for air defense, Tomahawks for land attack at ranges over 2,000 kilometers, and anti-submarine torpedoes. The SPY-1 radar tracks over 100 targets simultaneously. These are not escort boats. These are multi-mission warships that happen to also protect the carrier. During Epic Fury, Burkes launched Tomahawks against Iranian targets while simultaneously defending the carrier. Offense and defense from the same ship on the same day. Above the destroyers sits the Ticonderoga-class cruiser. Same Aegis system, but 122 vertical launch cells and the role of air defense commander for the entire formation. It fuses the radar picture from every ship in the group into one integrated defense. The Ticonderogas are retiring, with upgraded Burkes stepping into their role, but nothing currently in the fleet hits harder. If you're learning something, hit subscribe. We break down military technology the way it deserves to be explained. Then there's the ship you never see. Every carrier strike group includes at least one nuclear attack submarine, typically a Virginia-class or Los Angeles-class. It operates ahead of the formation, hunting enemy submarines and surface threats before they get anywhere close to the carrier. It also carries Tomahawk missiles and can deploy special operations forces. Its position is rarely confirmed publicly. That ambiguity is the point. Any adversary has to assume a submarine is nearby that they cannot find. Finally, the ship nobody talks about. Replenishment vessels carrying jet fuel, munitions, food, and spare parts. The carrier's reactors don't need fuel, but the aircraft and escorts do. Underway replenishment keeps the entire formation on station for months without touching port. A carrier strike group operates more aircraft than the entire air force of most NATO members. Some of those countries send thank you cards. Others send diplomats. Same thing. Put it all together and you have a self-contained military ecosystem. Air superiority, land attack, anti-submarine warfare, missile defense, electronic warfare, logistics, all moving at 30 knots, all on sovereign water, answering to nobody except the chain of command. Here's why all of this matters more now than ever. Land bases are political. They can be denied, cratered, or revoked. The Air Force has said it openly. The era of projecting power from sanctuary bases is over. A carrier strike group solves that problem by not being fixed. It moves 700 nautical miles overnight. It does not appear on any country's base map, and it brings everything it needs to fight. But the math doesn't always work. The US is required by law to maintain 11 carriers. On any given day, only about 6 or 7 are actually available. The rest are in overhauls, mid-life refueling that takes years, or recovering from deployments that wore them out faster than planned. Right now, the Ford is in Crete for repairs after a fire during Epic Fury. The Nimitz, commissioned in 1975, just departed on her final voyage before decommissioning. Her replacement, the Kennedy, is delayed until 2027. For parts of this year, the Navy is juggling its carrier math with almost no margin. So, are aircraft carriers obsolete? The wrong people keep asking that question. China has spent 2 decades and billions of dollars building missiles designed specifically to sink them. The DF-21D, the DF-26, the DF-27, weapons nicknamed carrier killers. And that label tells you everything. Nobody engineers a weapon to destroy something irrelevant. China's missile program is the most expensive compliment the aircraft carrier has ever received. China looked at the most expensive, most heavily defended object ever built by human beings and said, "We'd like to hit that with a ballistic missile, please." Which, to be fair, is exactly what you'd do if you couldn't build one yourself. And the Navy is not standing still. The Ford class generates 3 times the electrical power of a Nimitz. Electromagnetic catapults, weapons elevators that move ordnance at twice the capacity and 50% faster, and enough reserve power for weapons that don't exist yet. The carrier's real power was never the planes. It was never the 100,000 tons of steel, or the nuclear reactors, or the billions of dollars. The real weapon is the fact that 4.5 acres of sovereign territory can appear anywhere on Earth overnight, without asking a single government for permission. Every other military asset in the world needs a host. The carrier is the host. Here's the question for the comments. Carriers have dominated naval warfare for 80 years. What replaces them? Drones? Submarines? Distributed fleets? Or does nothing replace them? Make your case and let us know in the comments. Go check out one of our other videos. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until the next one, over and out.